It's a little tough to be a bull right now, but I'll tell you one thing. It's fun. It is fun. This is gold soaring, kind of going crazy. I'm going to explain exactly why this is such a good thing for Bitcoin and altcoin markets. If you think the bull market is over, that's completely your prerogative. I 100% disagree with you. And in this video, I'm going to break down the gold chart and the US dollar chart. And I'm going to kind of give a little bit of a spin on it. We're going to look at it really in terms of what is going on here on the Bitcoin chart, the Bitcoin cycles. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Let's talk about Bitcoin and altcoins in this video. I want to start briefly with this. We've been talking about the M2 money supply, right? And kind of, if I go to a current chart, this increase M2 money supply and the lag that Bitcoin has following that. I thought this was so interesting as I was trying to bring up one of these charts. This is a post from November. Bitcoin has tracked global M2 with a 70-day lag since September 2023. I don't want to alarm anyone, but if it continues, Bitcoin could be in for a 20 to 25% correction. Do you realize that this guy Joe, he posted this so basically November 25th is when he posted it. So if I go to the Bitcoin chart, just to give you a sense, it has the US dollar overlay. You can kind of just ignore that for a moment, the yellow line. But like end of November, we're looking at, where are we? Like right here. And you can just see what happened. We've gotten a correction for Bitcoin. So the reason I'm bringing it up is because, yes, even to the downside, we can use the M2 money supply as kind of this guide. But look what the white line has done, right? So we know since November, the orange line, Bitcoin has consolidated and followed that line. But look what the white line has done. If I scroll down to kind of a more current chart, it's the black line on this chart, but it has basically bounced to the upside now. And Bitcoin has not yet recovered. So there's such a good illustration of that 70-day lag or so of Bitcoin behind global M2 money supply. And so I wanted to lay the groundwork for this video just to kind of say, be prepared. Especially we've been in such high fear. We've been tracking so many different indicators in terms of fear and oversold and all that. But be prepared. Bitcoin can turn around very fast. Crypto can turn around very fast. So let's start with the dollar, and we'll talk about gold and then look at Bitcoin and altcoin charts because this is an altcoin market cap chart. I really want to dig into that a little bit as well. So the inverse correlation between the US dollar index, and Bitcoin is worth watching. DXY's dropped like a stone this month. Bitcoin could be ready to fly like a bird. So now we have the US dollar, confluent bullish data with global M2 money supply. And there's going to be a third indicator here, but we have the US dollar, and I wanted to talk about that. So I have been discussing the US dollar, especially in context to Trump and, his term. He wants interest rates to fall. And last administration, his first administration, 2 cycles ago, he just thought the dollar was too strong. And what happened? He came into office, the dollar fell. What's happening so far as he's coming to office? And we've been anticipating this. The dollar is starting to fall. I went to the Bitcoin chart and I just said, you know what? Let's just overlay the dollar on the Bitcoin chart. And it really, there's a lot of, speculation back and forth, like the Bitcoin bull market is over or it hasn't even started. This chart plays into the crypto bull market has not even started. So let me explain that. There's a bunch of different ways you could probably look at this chart right now, but what I really just very simply want to point out is these areas on the Bitcoin chart. We're actually going to talk about kind of the bear market areas of the Bitcoin chart as it relates to DXY because it's going to paint the picture. So you see this area back here, right? That was kind of the US dollar just making a really nice move to the upside and topping out for a while. And during that top out season for US dollar, what was Bitcoin doing? Entering the bear market. And then the same thing the next cycle. US dollar, right? Same thing. Bear market for Bitcoin. And then the last cycle. So we're going back, by the way, to 2014 area, and then here's 2019 area, and then here's 2022 area, the last bear market. What's happening as the US dollar is topping out and kind of consolidating all that while? Bitcoin bear market. Look at the chart right now. It is completely different. And not only is it different, the US dollar kind of made a move to the upside, right? And had its consolidation. And guess what? During that consolidation, guess what Bitcoin really didn't do, right? As it's topping out, the dollar's topping out here. What did it historically do in bear markets? It just kind of capitulated, right? At the very least to the 200-week moving average into some type of bear market. That did not happen. And I think part of the reason for that is because this 8-month consolidation, though it was painful, everybody wanted a parabolic bull cycle to start right there for Bitcoin. That 8-month consolidation probably was one of the most healthy things for Bitcoin. It set such a strong higher low floor for Bitcoin and crypto markets. And so US dollar starts rising. Bitcoin, after that 8-month consolidation, actually started rising with it. US dollar tops out. Bitcoin has fallen a little bit, but not anywhere near kind of bear market scenarios like we've seen in times past, in cycles past. This is one perspective of how this cycle is different. And I'm going to show you gold and what is in store. And that paints also a picture. The bull market hasn't even happened yet. But here's the yellow line falling now. So the question is, if we're actually entering now the US dollar falling like previous cycles, so right here, what happens in that environment? Bitcoin starts continuing to the upside. And if you look at the Trump cycle, so if we go back here to 2017, the Trump cycle, this is when the dollar started falling, right? Trump comes into office, dollar starts falling. We just looked at it on the actual US dollar chart. Bitcoin bull market. If we're going to get a similar Trump move on the dollar, Bitcoin bull market. There's a ton of bearish data. I'm not going to sit here. I'm a macro investor. You all know I'm prepared for downside. I'm prepared for if we're going to enter some type of bear market, let's do it. I'm prepared. We always have to, set up our risk tolerance in these markets with that possibility. And I do. But I'm presenting to you macro data that I am just seeing very clearly on the screen. So that's the US dollar. So far we have M2 money supply. We have the US dollar and the potential that we're going to see another Trump era type of fall in the US dollar. We just saw how that looks on the Bitcoin chart. And then we have gold. So now gold, it's great to see gold making a move to the upside. And really, I just want to point something very clearly out to you. And we've talked about it before. That is to say, when gold tops out and actually starts falling, if it does, historically, this is when we see Bitcoin take off. So check this out. Here's gold. This is a gold chart, right? So here's gold 2020, and then it starts falling October, November, starts falling. Do you remember what that was for Bitcoin? If we go to a Bitcoin chart, here it is. It's right here. Remember the bull market doors for Bitcoin being broken? Right there. So gold's actually starting to fall right here. That was Bitcoin's move. We go back like November 2016 or so. Gold was falling. This is a Bitcoin chart. Let me get rid of the US dollar. Gold was falling, started falling right here, Bitcoin bull run, right? And let me just go look at that chart. Here's a 2017, so April 2017, actually consolidation, but here is the 2016 move of gold falling, right? We just looked at it on the Bitcoin chart, September, October, gold falling. That's that bull market move for Bitcoin. So you can see when gold is falling, and by the way, 2012, gold starts falling. If we go to a Bitcoin chart all the way back there, look at this. Gold starts falling, Bitcoin starts making a move to the upside. Now we have this third indicator. The question is gold going to start falling soon? While M2 money supply starts increasing and while the US dollar starts falling? Because that is like this triple bullish indicator, the confluence of these three things. And these are very important macro indicators that I'm watching right now on Bitcoin. And there's a case for each one happening. Gold is getting crazy, right? And when gold starts getting crazy, starts getting overbought, even with some, you actually even see a little bearish divergence right here on the gold chart. If gold starts falling, that's bullish for Bitcoin historically. And we have the case, a very strong case, that the dollar will continue falling. We might get bounces to the upside on the way down, but there's a strong case for that. And then the data is clear. M2 is making a move to the upside. These are three very simple areas that I'm watching on the Bitcoin charts. I'm not trying to throw hopium or just, you all know I am a permeable to an extent because I'm just very bullish on the crypto space. But if we tie all of that in now to altcoins, do you realize what this means? It doesn't only mean the Bitcoin bull market has a ton of room and hasn't barely started, but the altcoin bull market absolutely has not started. And we know this chart really relies on things like M2 money supply and things like money printers coming on to help, right? And we're entering that season. Like we are getting ready to enter that season. Interest rates are going to start falling. And so if the dollar starts falling, if gold tops out or starts consolidating, this chart is hanging out and it's ready. And we're not even talking about all of the institutional adoption that is coming for altcoins. Not even talking about the fact that President Trump actually made a post just weeks ago about XRP, ADA, and Solana, right? We are in a brand new territory, everybody. Could there be downside? I will consistently just sprinkle that in. Yes. Be prepared. This market is volatile. It can get so painful. But I cannot sit here as a macro crypto investor and ignore all of these different data points. And they're very simple. We can complicate them, right? And we can add more data, and I think it's beneficial to do so oftentimes. But even just from the simple surface level, tying into the monetary cycle and what's going on right now from a macroeconomic perspective, these data points are aligning to say, if these things happen, altcoins are getting ready to absolutely go crazy. And what I'm saying is parabolic move for altcoins. We got a little tricked and faked out back here in November. I especially did, right? This would be from a time frame perspective exactly when altcoins make the move. And it was a little bit of a fake out, but that does not mean anything other than this cycle is different. And I don't think that is a bad thing. I think it's actually a very bullish thing. So we can continue doing all of the analysis on altcoins, and we absolutely will. But this is the altcoin market cap. This is excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, sitting at around $800 billion. It recently tested previous bull market highs just above $1 trillion. And I think that's the starting line. I think we're at the starting line for an altcoin bull market if these things come together. So be very careful out there, everybody, to buy into all of the bearish sentiment. Oftentimes, headlines, especially the big organizations, they're purposely trying to shake retail out because they are accumulating, right? If you just start seeing bear market headlines or recession headlines, it might be because it's kind of already happened, right? And they just want to shake out retail as much as possible to buy the bottoming out area. And we've seen many indicators suggesting the potential bottoming out area on all these charts, including the sentiment aspect of it, the fear aspect of it. I mean, most recently, we very much entered a high fear environment. At one point, we were at 10 on the way down here, right? So we've seen this play out before in bottoms. So we're somewhere in a bottom formation. And it seems, in terms of on-chain metrics, that smart money is accumulating. So these are my thoughts today. I wanted to throw that out there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, everybody. I hope you're still out there. And if you are, I appreciate you. Your support means a ton to me. Get into our Discord. I've been sharing a link in these videos. So get into our Discord. Hang out with us. I appreciate you cruising through. Hit the subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button on the way out. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.